What's up, comic and pop culture fans? This is James with Manhunter Comics. Today I'm going to give you not only the top 10 9.8s in my collection, but I'm also going to let you know that they are departing. Some of you know that I've been trying to amass one of the most impressive Green Lantern collections out there, so some sacrifices have to be made, and my big boys, my babies, are going to be up for sale. Listen, saying goodbye is hard as hell. I've done it before. It is never easy. Let's get into it with number 1. You can tell I liked it so much because it's still in its frame. This is DC Comics Presents 27. It's the first appearance of Mongol. And this is one that does not appear too often. It's hard to get the 9.8 white pager on that. It's a difficult 9.8 for sure. This one is going to be up for sale, and I will do a little bit better if you can do cash. I originally wanted to have this for my Green Lantern collection because I wanted to get Green Lantern villains, but now I'm a little bit more focused and I really am collecting the Green Lantern books. And technically it's not a Green Lantern key, it's actually almost more of a Superman villain key, technically. But Mongol is a great Green Lantern villain nonetheless. And that is a great one that gave me a lot of joy, but I've had it well over a year, maybe even 2 years now. So it is time. Next up is one of the most underrated books that exist. This is Eternals #1 from 1976. It is the first appearance of the Eternals. What once was, just a couple years ago, about a $4,000 9.8, it's now something like $700-800, maybe $900. The value on this has tanked so much that it's actually made its way onto my list of coldest books, and it was #1 for coldest books. If you look it up, it is one of the craziest drops this market has seen. And that's actually one of the reasons I like it, because it is a really impressive 9.8 white pager, and it is on the more, and I use this term loosely, affordable now. So it's an awesome first appearance key that I think is more attainable than some of the ones in here. There are a decent amount of them on the census, and I like that it is one that people can actually get now. Next up is proof that this list is not in any particular order, because I love this one. This is a 9.8 of Secret Wars #8. This one is the Newsie. Now, this particular newsstand, despite being from 1984, which in 1984, the amount of newsstands and direct editions were actually about the same. Still, surviving copies leans more heavily to direct editions. It's much harder finding a newsstand that retained that amazing shape. This one's a white pager. It's a newsstand. It is a massive, awesome book. It was supposed to be the first Black Suit Spidey. In some people's eyes, it still almost is, because that's how it was intended. Love the book. I love Secret Wars. I still think it's one of the best Marvel maxi series that ever were created. And just everything about it. For the nostalgia for me, the impact of Spider-Man as a kid. People always ask, what's your favorite Marvel hero? And I know it's boring, but it's Spider-Man. And this is one of the issues that solidified it for me. So that's a bit of a staple, but I do need to sell it to make way for some big collections incoming and some Green Lantern keys that I can't really get without selling these. So they gotta go. Next up is one that's had a hilarious story. This is the first appearance of Trigon, first appearance of Deathstroke. It is the custom George Perez signature. Unfortunately, it is not signed by George Perez. It is signed by Marv Wolfman. Pretty awesome. 9.8 white pager, and if you remember, I got it back from CGC, and they gave me a 9.4, even though it used to be a 9.8. And it was a crazy mix-up where they actually sent me someone else's book a week later, even though I only submitted one. And I got 2 books, only one of them was mine, the other one was someone else's, and they had the same cert number. So I had to send both books back, they investigated it, they regraded mine to 9.8, which it was supposed to stay at, and they were able to find the other person's book and send it to them. It was a crazy bad oops by CGC, so there's a funny story behind this book, and it's back in its correct 9.8, and it is for sale. Next up, I was going to show this as the last book because this is a mucho favorite of mine. First appearance of John Constantine. That's a bit of a baby right there. That's my baby right there. But baby's got to leave the nest. I gotta sell my big boy books. Got collections coming in that I am not going to be able to afford otherwise, and I just need to focus on that Green Lantern collection right now, so it's got to go. That might be the hardest book to get rid of. Actually, a lot of these are really difficult. That's the first John Constantine, which, if we're being honest with ourselves, is probably one of DC's best, most fleshed out characters. That is a 9.8 white pages from 1985, and that is quite valuable. Next up is one of the only ones that exist. It is the first appearance of Tefe Holland, 2 Swamp Thing books back to back. This was a success story of mine. I bought up like 50 raws of this book. I only bought the best ones I could find, and this is the only one that got the 9.8. This is a absolute insane nightmare of a book that purely black spine from the top to the bottom makes it extremely difficult to obtain. I also had a recent success in that CGC was able to update the notes to say that it is the birth of Tefe Holland. That is a really awesome one. I've had many messages about that, and I actually am going to finally have it for sale. So here it is, and yeah, I haven't had that long, but I feel good, like I did a little public service to get that out there into the world. Next up is the first appearance of Raven, first appearance of Starfire, first appearance of Cyborg. That's a massive key right there. 1980 DC Comics presents 26. So on this list, we've had 26 and 27. And that is, what's there to say about this one? It is, I think if it had a slightly better cover, this book would be something like $3,000–$4,000. But because it is actually kind of a goofy little weird cover with anatomy problems and it's way too busy, I do think it is more affordable, mainly because of that. It is like a 16-page spread of New Teen Titans first appearance, which is absolutely awesome. Can't believe that I own it. Can't believe that I'm selling it. There it is. Winding down, we've got Nova #1. Now, this is a very impressive 9.8. This book is a solid investable book right there. 1976, same thing as Eternals #1. It gets filed into that little bit of underrated, but a good buy right now. I do think it's probably the lowest it ever could be, certainly with Eternals, and I think Nova's the same way. It's just a really awesome book, and it's really impressive. Anyone who's ever done submitting themselves know how hard it is to get 9.8s, and when you start getting into the 80s and the 70s, getting 9.8s is really hard. So having a major key like this score it, and on a nice new slab, which tells me, ooh, that really is a 9.8, makes me feel all the better. Now, I specifically buy 9.8s only if they really are 9.8s, meaning I don't see a single spine tick. Every single book I've showed you thus far is a great 9.8 example. I've bought books that I didn't think were truly 9.8s, and I've sold them right away in order to buy another one back. Okay, big boy book here, Invincible #1, first appearance of Invincible. What's there to say about this one? I absolutely adore the Invincible. It probably is my favorite title from Image. I don't know why I said probably. It is my favorite title from Image. I am a Robert Kirkman fanatic, so there's no surprise there. I really liked the show. I'm really looking forward to season 2 of Invincible. I thought it blew me away, and the value of this one hurts. It's a really expensive book. Tough to afford this one. Probably is one of the most expensive ones I'm going to be putting up in this video. But there it is. That's a great one to have, and this is a staple in your collection. Like, if you want to have a flex, I feel like having an Invincible #1, having a Walking Dead #1 are kind of like the, oh shit. That's pretty awesome. Let me look at it one last time. Next up is Last of Us American Dreams. This is the first appearance of Ellie and members of the Last of Us video game in comics. This was a Dark Horse title that they made with the Last of Us video game. Some collector's editions also came with digest-sized versions of this book. This is the more valuable one, the full size. I think it's absolutely awesome. I did have a shot at actually buying all 4 in 9.8's, and I should have done it. This is the only book out of everything I'm showing you here today that is not for sale. I am just that much of a die-hard Last of Us fan, I can't do it. Do you think we're ever going to get a Last of Us Part 3? Let me know in the comments. I'm comfortable with where it ended, but I definitely would, I want more, you know? And last, but certainly not least, we got to give it to a big one here. This is the first appearance of Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn, The Big Bad Batman Adventures number 12 from 1993. This is a really expensive book. It fluctuates between like $2,500 to like $3,500. It goes up, it goes down, but it never really goes below 25. This is a really valuable book right here. You guys know what it is. She's even on the cover. First Harley Quinn. And any early Harleys, I'm just a massive fan of, but this is the number one. This is the bee's knees, the first one of them all. So having this 9.8 has been wonderful. However, short-lived, unfortunately. I actually have not owned this for very long at all. And I just know that by repurposing this into money that I can put into some specific Green Lantern books, I will be even happier. So I'm getting rid of some big-ass books today, my friends. You're going to be glad you watched this video. It is all first come, first serve. Obviously, if you do cash deals, I can do even a little bit better. As for trading, I don't really think so. I kind of need the money to afford the collections and then the personal Green Lantern collection coming up, so I don't think so. And I could be open to doing some payment plans if anyone really needs to do that. In the meantime, guys, keep on hunting. Don't forget that it's okay to let go and plug into something bigger and even better. See you at the next video.
Make sure to come down to Sentiment Depot Antiques and Collectibles, where I'm set up with all of my comics, located at 238 West Delaware Ave, Pennington, New Jersey. Open every day except for Monday and Tuesday. Enjoy 10% off from Wednesday to Friday. See you there.